The Sentry's latest comic was kind of a flop. Let's talk about why. This miniseries saw Bob Reynolds dealing with the imminent death of his beloved dog, a loss he fears will bring out the void. Meanwhile, sentient crystals become bursting out of the earth with the potential to kill. One of these storylines is incredibly half-baked. Can you guess which one? Look, creator Paul Jenkins has said that this is a deeply personal story inspired by his own experience losing a beloved pet. And I can relate. I've got a tattoo of my late dog on my arm, for crying out loud. That said, I do think this book was a little boring. Nothing much happens in it, besides setting up a slightly altered and arguably regressive status quo. To be fair though, Marvel only gave Jenkins 4 issues to tell this story, as is their typically stingy editorial style these days, so maybe that's why it feels so limited and incomplete, in stark contrast to his previous longer runs on the character. Still, perhaps my biggest gripe is aimed at Jenkins himself and his flagrant disregard of Marvel canon. Not to be a sweaty nerd. I can accept that Bob's powers are basically limitless and he can come back from the dead with little explanation, but what about his wife, Lindy? Not only does she hate and fear him all through Dark Avengers, but she was also murdered by Bullseye at the end of that book. Now she's back being a happy, loving, and somewhat passive wife? It's lazy characterization in my view, and a little creepy, all things considered. Above all else, this story would play out largely the same with or without Lindy in it because she doesn't really have much agency, so it's also just unnecessary. Additionally, there's something kind of jarring about how warmly the other Marvel heroes treat Bob in this book, when in Jeff Lemire's run they had all kind of come to resent and fear him, understandably so. As the creator of the character, I can understand why Paul Jenkins may feel his voice is gospel when it comes to the Sentry, but it's getting to the point now where it's almost not worth following this character's story if each incoming writer is just going to disregard the work of the previous one. Did you pick up the Sentry 2026? If so, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments.